Now that we have that full quality audio file, it should be noted that we didn't create some sort of impressive full quality version. We've basically just converted this to a file that an audio program can edit. We didn't add any new content to the audio in terms of the sound of it and improve it or anything like that. We're just going to have the same sounding audio file, except now it is a full quality file that an audio application can edit. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to choose Open with Adobe Audition. You're going to notice that Adobe is looking for a couple of fonts that we don't have installed, so that's pretty fun. So just click Skip on that. I'm going to go up to the Application menu and I'm going to get into the General Preferences because I do like to go through here and see what my options are because this is a new app. Audio hardware. Is my device set up to play back the way I expect it to? Etc., etc. Take a minute to scroll through there. One thing that I like to do is go to, let's see, Media and Disk Cache and click off this Save Peak Files because it ends up saving an additional file along with your audio file. So there's one little tweak you can do. Click OK. Here's the most important thing to know about Adobe Audition. This is what's known as a destructive audio editor. That means we're actually manipulating the WAV file itself. So this works really well if you're trying to trim up a voiceover file, you want to cut it into bits and pieces, you want to smooth it out with some fades, you want to add some EQ, but you're actually editing the audio file itself versus in Logic where we're processing a file and the file remains unchanged. The processes go on top of that new file. So here's the audio that I recorded. It's, like I said, it's from a refrigerator. It's the sound of a refrigerator running. I'm going to use this in the Back to the Future trailer. Sounds like that. Well, here's some noise of me adjusting my phone to get a recording. So I'm going to select that just by clicking, holding, dragging, and I'm going to choose delete. And then there's a little bit of noise here at the end, so I'm going to do the same there, and I'm going to choose delete. So I'm going to do a couple of processes. I double click it to select the whole thing. When it turns white, I know I've got it. I'm going to click this volume button here. I'm going to bring the volume up to, well, let's see, something like that. So now I've got a louder noise. I don't want to get much louder than that because it is just a sound effect underneath. Then next, this is where there's no right or wrong answers. I'm going to click on Effects. Now I'm going to start making some manipulation to this. I'm going to do maybe some time and pitch. I'm going to do some reverb. I'm going to do some modulation. So really this is kind of exploring. In other words, there's some really neat things that Adobe Audition can do that some other apps can't do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with time and pitch. I'm going to go to stretch. I've kind of messed around with this before, but I'm going to make the pitch go a little lower. I'm going to slow the file down. I can sample back what it sounds like. Okay, a little bit of a lag there at the beginning. I'm going to click OK. Takes a few seconds to process. Again, this is destructive editing. This is manipulating the file. I'm going to go into reverb. I'm going to go into full reverb. I'm going to use presets just like I've done in Logic. Let's go with Martian Echo. I could sample it. I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to go into Effects. I'm going to go into Modulation. I'm going to go Chorus, and I'm going to pick a preset here called 10 Voices. It's just going to kind of multiply that a little bit. So now I've got a little bit different file that's going to be the basis of some sound design for the Back to the Future movie sample. So that's what the file sounds like. Here's what the original one sounded like. Okay, doesn't sound like much. And that one's the original one because I need to hit save, and as soon as I hit save, then now this file is that new file that I'm using for some sound design. So that's a quick look at Adobe Audition. It's really great for a lot of things. I use it actually more than I care to admit, considering it's not an Apple product.